You probably already looked at the title of this video. It's about to get real. By now, I think a majority of us have already seen Disney's Encanto and Disney Pixar's Turning Red. Now, I will say this, both of these movies are really good in their own special way. But it's got me thinking, which movie is better, Encanto or Turning Red? Well, why don't we break it down with both of these movies. So Encanto follows the story of Mirabel and her amazing family, the Madrigals. And she is the only one in her family, aside from her abuela, her father, and her tío Felix, that doesn't have a special gift. And I'll be quite honest, it kind of sucks that she doesn't have a gift. But she does her part to help around with the family and everything, but doesn't get appreciated that much because she's the only one with no gift. It's not until the night that her younger cousin Antonio receives his gift, she notices that the casita is breaking apart with all these cracks in the walls. And then the candle's flame starts to flicker, and when she goes to warn everybody, the casita appears undamaged to the others. After that, she overhears Abuela praying, and so Mirabel resolves to try to save the miracle and find out what's going on. It's not until the next day she talks to her super strong older sister Luisa, who confesses to feel overwhelmed by her near constant obligations, and she suggests that she goes to her Tío Bruno's room to find out why everything is happening. So Mirabel goes into Bruno's room and discovers a cave and barely escapes it with some pieces of slab of opaque emerald glass in hand. After she escapes and her family reminds her of why they never talk about Bruno, she reassembles the glass and sees a picture of the casita cracking behind her. Later that evening, Mirabel's older sister Isabella is supposed to be engaged to the neighbor Mariano, but Dolores overhears Mirabel's discovery and tells everybody, causing the casita to crack again, ruining the night and Mariano's proposal. After all chaos, Mirabel follows a group of rats and discovers a secret passage behind a portrait where she finds Bruno, who reveals he'd never left the house and that he broke the vision to save Mirabel. And then after that, they go into Antonio's room and Bruno reluctantly conquers another vision that resembles that the previous one, along with Mirabel embracing Isabella and strengthening the candle.
Embrace who? Oh, almost there. Who is it? Almost there. Oh, I got it.
So Mirabel reluctantly apologizes to Isabella, who abruptly confesses that she doesn't want to marry Mariano and is burdened by her image of perfection. But so Mirabel helps Isabella develop her powers and the two embrace. But unfortunately, Alma sees the pair and accuses Mirabel of causing the family's misfortunes out of the spite of not having a gift. Mirabel eventually snaps at Abuela for not deeming her good enough for the family and blaming her overbearing nature for weakening the family's magic. And this argument causes fissure that splits a nearby mountain and demolishes the casita as the candle extinguishes, leaving the madrigals powerless.
The crack started with you. Bruno left because of you. Luisa's losing her powers. Isabella's out of control because of you. I don't know why you weren't given a gift, but it is not an excuse for you to hurt this family. I will never be good enough for you. hard I try. No matter how hard any of us tries, Luisa will never be strong enough. Isabella won't be perfect enough. Bruno left our family because you only saw the worst in it. Bruno didn't care about this family. He loves this family. I love this family. We all love this family. You're the one that doesn't care. You're the one breaking our home. Don't you ever. Miracle is dying because of you.
Several hours later, Abuela finds the tearful Mirabel back at the river where her husband Pietro died and explains her tragic backstory and how determined to preserve the magic, she ignores how her expectations were harming the family and finally accepts responsibility for what happened. And finally, the two reconcile along with Bruno.
I was given a miracle. A second chance. And I was so afraid to lose it that I lost sight of who our miracle was for. And I am so sorry. You never hurt our family, Mirabel. We are broken. Because of me.
When Mirabel, Bruno, and Abuela return back to the village, the Madrigals rebuild the casita along with the townsfolk joining in. Mirabel installs a new doorknob to the main door, restoring the family's gifts and reviving casita. And, of course, always happy ending. So, that was the movie Encanto. Now let's move on to the next movie, Disney Pixar's Turning Red. Set in Toronto, Ontario in 2002, we follow the Chinese-Canadian girl Meilin Lee.
I'm Meilin Lee. Ever since I turned 13, I've been doing my own thing, making my own moves, 24/7, 365. I wear what I want, say what I want, and I will not hesitate to do a spontaneous cartwheel if I feel so moved.
She's a very smart and quirky teenager, and like teenage girls, her and her friends are a fan of the boy band Four Town. But unfortunately for May, she hides her personal interests from her mother, who's very strict and overprotective. It's not until later in the night, May starts drawing a picture of Devin and starts creating more fantasy drawings. And when May discovers the drawings, she takes May over to the Daisy Mart to confront Devin and embarrasses her in public, even in front of the school bully Tyler.
Kinda looks like Devin. I don't get what Mir sees in him. He's not that cute. Okay, his shoulders are kind of nice, I guess. His eyes are fine.
Now, I'll be completely honest, if my mom ever did that to me in front of the boy that I like, I would be so embarrassed. I would just run away from home. Later in the night when May's in bed, she starts having like a weird kind of like trippy, vivid nightmare involving red pandas. And I'll be completely honest, like this scene was like so creepy and weird and just like interesting, but honestly, I kind of like wish they went into like more further detail with like the nightmare and everything, because there was just some scenes in the nightmare where some of the stuff that they show was like never explained aside from like the red panda and like the ancestors. And then when she wakes up in the morning, she discovers that she is transformed into a large red panda, and she hides it from her parents and discovers that she only transforms when she's in a high state of emotions. And then her hair remains the color red. Ming, her mother, initially believes May's experiencing her first period, but I'll get into that a little bit later. And when she gets to school, when she's in her math class, she notices that her mom is hiding outside of the school out through the window, and her mom exclaims that she forgot her pads, which embarrasses May and makes her transform into the panda again. And when Ming discovers that, May runs away from school and heads back home.
Tell him you forgot your
I had to add that part. That's like my favorite part and scene from this whole freaking movie. And when she gets home, her mother and father explain to her that their ancestor Sun Yi was granted this transformation to protect her daughters, and every female family member since then has also transformed when they came of age. But unfortunately for them, this became an inconvenience and dangerous in the modern age.
And one night, during a red moon, the gods granted her wish. They gave her the ability to harness her emotions, to transform into a powerful, mystical being. She was able to fend off bandits, protect her village, and save her family from ruin. Sun Yi passed this gift to her daughters for when they came of age, and they passed it to theirs.
Now her mom does explain that there is a cure for her to seal the red panda spirit, and they have to perform a ritual on the night of the red moon. But she has to wait for the next month for the red moon to come. And so after that, May's friends discover that she can transform into a red panda, but they actually like the red panda. And May finds that concentrating on them helps her control the red panda within her. So the next day, May and her friends are trying to find a way where they can attend the Four Town concert that's going to be coming up next month. So the girls secretly raise money for tickets at school, exploiting the popularity of May's red panda form, while lying to May's mom. And to cover the last ticket, May agrees to attend Tyler's birthday party as the red panda. And at the party, May is upset to discover that the concert will be held on the night of the ritual. And in the midst of her rage, she attacks Tyler when he insults her family, frightening the other children. And Ming discovers May's activities and accuses her friends of corrupting and taking advantage of her. And ashamed and afraid to stand up to her mother, May fails to come to her friend's defense.
You manipulated her for a bunch of tacky delinquents?
No, she wanted to.
Don't you blame her. She is a good girl, and you've taken advantage of her.
May, tell her. What?
Dude!
I will admit that scene did kind of piss me off that May didn't defend her friends after she was the one who decided to come up with the plan to get the tickets and everything. So it comes to the night of the ritual and the Four Town concert, and as May prepares herself, Jin, her father, finds a video that she took herself as a red panda with her friends and tells her she shouldn't be ashamed of this side of her and that he actually enjoys it. And during the ritual, as May's panda form is about to be sealed, she decides to keep her powers and abandon the ritual to attend the concert. Now when she does get to the concert, her friends forgive her for her actions at the party, and they also discover that Tyler is also a Four Townie. But before even May went to the concert, Ming became so enraged that her talisman shatters after May inadvertently broke it during her escape from the temple, causing Ming to transform into her kaiju-sized red panda and disrupts the concert, intending to take May back by force. And honestly, like, Ming's panda form is so big, it's just like a huge, like, Godzilla-sized red panda. It's just so scary. After that, May does confess to her mom that it was her idea to hustle the panda and go to Tyler's party. And then it leads to May and Ming arguing about May's independence.
I'm not your little Mamie anymore! I lied, Mom! What? It was my
I don't know how Pixar and Disney was able to get away with some of the things that they did in this movie, but I appreciate them so much for taking this kind of risk. And as they quarrel, May accidentally knocks her mother unconscious. Her grandmother Wu and the other aunts break their talisman to use their red pandas to help Ming back into the ritual circle. May's friends and the band Four Town join in to sing to complete the ritual, sending May, Ming, and the other women to the astral planes. And when May finds a younger version of her mom, she reconciles with her and helps her mend the bond with her grandmother. I do like this scene where May is taking her mom and you see the different ages of her mom progressing through the years because she's been holding out that much stress from her mother and pressure, which can carry on through family trauma. So after Ming and her mother make amends, the other women and Ming conceal their red pandas back into new talisman, while May decides to keep hers, with Ming accepting that she's finding her own path. And later, the Lee family raises money to help repair the damages that was caused into the Sky Dome, and May and Ming's relationship has improved, as May is able to balance her duties at the temple, where her red panda is now an attraction, and able to spend time with her friends and Tyler.
Yeah. Sometimes I miss how things were, but nothing stays the same forever.
So yeah, that was Turning Red. Now it just brings on to the question that we've all been wondering. Which movie do I prefer better? Encanto or Turning Red? Now I will say this, I do like both of these movies. Both of these movies are very good in their own different ways. And I do like the fact that there is no villain in any of these movies, but that the fact that we deal with emotional family trauma as more of like the conflict in both of these movies. That's what I do appreciate. Now, as to which movie do I like better, I'm going to have to go with Turning Red. It's, to me, better than Encanto. Now, that's not to say that Encanto is a terrible movie. I think it's really good. I honestly just prefer Turning Red a little bit more. Like, if there was a movie that I would want to watch over and over again, I would want to see Turning Red over and over again. It's my new comfort movie. And I'm going to go into explaining why I prefer Turning Red more than Encanto. See, with Encanto, I was kind of getting mad and irritated throughout the whole movie the first time I watched it, mostly because of how Abuela and Isabella were treating Mirabel so badly. And yeah, I know you're supposed to kind of like be mad at Abuela for like how she is and like being so mean to Mirabel. Like, I understand that. And what I also felt is that like the movie was kind of rushed and we didn't get to like explore, you know, more of like the gifts from the other Madrigal kids and everything. And what I really wanted to see was like the other Madrigal kids, like their gifts like kind of like weakening. Like we only saw Luisa's gift like weakening. We didn't get to see like Camilo's or Dolores's powers like weakening, or even the triplets weakening powers too. Like I wish we could have saw more of that. And it wasn't until like the second time I watched the movie that I actually enjoyed it, which I kind of hate that part when it's like I watched the movie for the first time and at the end, once I finish it, I get like mad. I'm just like, no, I hate it. And it takes me the second time to watch it again where I'm just like, you know what, this is actually really good, I liked it. Like that's kind of why, like, I don't know, to me like Encanto's like good, but it didn't really like get me like, oh, I love this movie so much, I'm gonna like buy everything, this is like the best movie ever. Now with Turning Red, the first time I watched it, I was like bursting out loud laughing. Like it made me smile. Like I was really, really happy. And that's what I like whenever like I watch a movie. Like I want to make sure like I enjoy it and I'm not gonna get like mad like most of the time. I mean, yeah, the one scene where May doesn't defend her friends, that kind of pissed me off a bit, but I still enjoyed it though, and it was very good. And that's why I like this movie a little bit more. Another thing is the characters. Both Mirabel and May are very good, strong female leads in both of these movies, which I do appreciate that we got another female role in a Disney or Disney Pixar movie. That I do appreciate. See, with Mirabel, she was desperate to try to be part of the family that doesn't really care about her that much. And at the end, finally found her purpose in life, and that kept the family together. And yes, I do know that they were trying to point out one of the biggest problems in Latino families is the pressure of being part of the family. So yeah, I do get that. I mean, I'm not Latina myself, but like I can understand like the whole like pressure and everything with the family. Now with May, she does search for validation, but she's still her own person who had to stand her ground about her likes and her changes to her family to accept she's not taking the same path as them, which is okay too. And I know that's also like the same pressure with like the Asian family too, which is very realistic. I mean, again, I'm not that ethnicity, but I can understand, you know, the whole pressure and everything. And like I mentioned before, I do like both of these movies. They're both good in their own different way. And yes, Turning Red has some of its flaws, but also Encanto has some of its flaws too. I mean, there is the fact that like in Turning Red, where Tyler instantly became their friends close to the end of the movie, I wish there was more of like he could have apologized for, you know, bullying May and, you know, everything that like he said during his party. And with Encanto, I mean, like I mentioned, I wish there was a little bit more into Encanto, and I felt like it was very rushed. I wish they would have taken more time exploring more of the family's gifts and everything. Anyway guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which movie do you prefer, Encanto or Turning Red. Anyway guys, I will see you guys later.